Good morning.
Morning.
Welcome back to Coffee with Panda. We took last week off because of Thanksgiving, although I posted a little hello and a happy Thanksgiving to everybody that you guys probably saw with my daughter sticking her head in doing the whole turkey noise thing, which is cracking me up. Hope everybody had a fabulous Thanksgiving. We did. We had a really good time. My mom bailed last minute, unfortunately, so we didn't get to see my mom for Thanksgiving, but I did get to see her earlier in the week for her birthday, because her birthday was on the 17th and then mine was on the 20th. When my grandmother was alive, it was the 14th for my grandmother, 17th for my mom, and me on the 20th. So we're all 3 days apart, which it had its advantages, but probably more for the rest of the family because they would just lump us all into one.
I was just saying, did they just come and have like one big party for all three of you guys?
Well, we didn't necessarily have parties, but we, when
like
I was
regular,
little,
when
I was little, we did, yeah. And the cake was me, but they included everybody, which was a better deal than my aunt, because my aunt was Christmas Eve.
Oh, that's
awful. And for years she didn't have her own separate birthday. In fact, I don't think we started doing that for her until she was in her 70s. I don't know.
I was just saying, I'm trying to calculate here. Yeah.
Because Christmas Eve, we'd open presents.
Don't conceive in March if you're going to have a 9-month. Because then your kid's just going to resent you for having a December birthday.
Ever.
That's awful.
You got a stray going on
here. Yeah, okay.
That's your hair again.
Yes, I know.
Ragging him on live TV. But he made coffee, all sins are forgiven, right? So which one are we doing today?
So far, one of our favorites. That's the Post Alley. Mm-hmm. That's the dark roast from Seattle's
yeah,
best.
Still my favorite.
Yeah.
So far, Amazon.
Other than something like a dark Lavazza, that is probably one of my favorite coffees so far. Yeah.
Oh, we have an addition to the Panda thing. I'll link them. I got these off Etsy for my birthday. I got some bunnies too, but these are little ceramic pandas. So I thought it was appropriate to be wearing them today. We need more panda earrings. He's got a shirt. We've got the mugs. We're not using them today. I've got an extra one here that I use for a pencil cup.
I wore the shirt a couple of broadcasts ago. Yeah.
I think one of our last. No,
I'll
it wasn't.
Probably wear it on the next one too, just to display it. Because it does fit. It's a large. It does fit me. So
we're gonna have Christmas lights next time.
I was going to say, if you need, we can pull the ones off of the window since they're a little short. They need an extension cord. You can put them back here.
No, because I'll still need the extension cord.
Maybe.
Because plug's not there. So.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so here's the question. Did you start decorating for Christmas prior to Thanksgiving? Did you start decorating Thanksgiving night? Or did you do it the next day? My daughter's partner, his family did Thanksgiving evening is when they usually do it. So they're carrying on that tradition. And we usually do it the weekend or the next day after Thanksgiving. We definitely have a moratorium on Christmas songs, if that's the right word. Moratorium on Christmas songs.
Moratorium is the correct word.
Yeah, until after. To the day after Thanksgiving. And then I started doing stuff on Epidemic Sound and that kind of thing. I'm hoping to have my sound bar hooked up so that we can actually have some music playing in the background for our next live stream next week. So, but got a couple of announcements, and I know I've mentioned it before, but it's already started. As of yesterday, my digital advent on Renmeleon started. And the download for today First one is a Christmas card, which is the thumbnail for this video. So you can see that. That was yesterday's advent. And then today is a paper doll that can be used all year round because her little poinsettia wreath comes off. And you can draw on her. You can give her t-shirts, but she's got a little bit of color on her.
You can even cut out your own clothes for it
if
you want. Sure.
So this one's glued together, but if you put little tiny brads, which you can get at any Michael's or Walmart even, I think has them. Mm-hmm. But the other one goes in her nose. She'll have a little dot nose. And so this is the download for today. If you have kids, grandkids, just love paper toys or paper crafts, this is your jam. It's at the $10 level on my Patreon, and I'll have the link below. It should be, if you go to patreon.com and any platform and put in Renmeleon, I'm Renmeleon literally on every platform. So, so this is today's download. And
sorry, I have to shift because
oh, you're fine.
I'm like looking over here because the camera's over here. Sorry.
So our next one, I've got gift tags and paper chain designed already. Paper chain is probably going to be tomorrow. This guy is going to be around the 5th, and he's even got a little bag, and it's got
that's the best
switches, 2 pieces of coal in here. It's got 2 pieces of coal in here. No small children.
You know what the coal's for, right?
What?
The coal is so that bad children have another chance to be better next year.
Well,
because if you live in a cold place, then he still wants you to survive and do better next year. But
that's totally not Krampus.
Well, yeah. Krampus just takes bad children.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, if your parents give you coal for Christmas, that's the reason why. It's because they want you to be better next year.
Yeah, this is Krampus is one of those cautionary tales. In fact, Krampusnacht is coming up on the 5th.
Oh, yeah.
And I really, really, really miss Christkindlmrkt in Cincinnati because there's a huge German society in Cincinnati, and they have a Krampus parade at Christkindlmrkt, and the food.
Oh, the food's
and
amazing.
All the crafts and everything else. So, so he's got a little bag, like I said, no children, and you can stick this on here and it fits with him. And this is, everybody was joking around that this is like
the fuzzy.
This is like Leonard, his more genial cousin.
Yes.
That doesn't approve of Krampus's
antics.
Yeah. So he's got little vials of something, probably glitter, and has his little footies down here and everything. And
it's cute. It's still cute.
Yeah. So he was fun to make. And I've done a thaumatrope of Krampus in the past where the tongue comes out and you flip the thaumatrope around. Thaumatropes are paper toys. In fact, I've got one here that I designed for this year. So it's basically an old time toy that is an optical illusion. So his arms, he dances and the little tree sways back and forth. So when you spin it, he goes back and forth and dances and the little tree moves. You have to get it just right where it's fast enough to see it.
I can see the changes. But
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that is one of the...
Keep a 2-year-old entertained for about 30 seconds. And then they'll be like, whatever.
But I've got it on the download. There's actually you can make a template and make your own. So there's instructions on there. And paper chain, I've got several of those designed. I'm actually doing the paper chain is an ebook. So I'm going to have that on Etsy this week so that you can, if you want to just download and print all the different kinds of paper chain. And paper chain obviously is the, do I have mine? Yes. Paper chain is exactly what it sounds like.
I have one with a bunch of pandas all over.
Yeah. So he's got a panda one. We got a bunch of stuff. But this is my retro snowman from a couple of years ago that I think is probably my favorite. So obviously, because the blue is my favorite color. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to have a full chain of this up going on with some lights and stuff here next week. So I just get to sit and glue. But so there's all sorts of goodies. $10 level. You also get everything down below it too. So you get the $5 snail mail, which is an art card. And I think I did. Yeah, this is the card that is up there for my Patreon people right now. And that was from Thanksgiving. But I have another thank you card and some other stuff going up. And little prints and zines. And so I've been busy making stuff. You can see most of it over on my Twitch channel. And actually watch me do art. Saturday is my next stream, and I'm going to be doing something interesting. Something unusual this Saturday. He doesn't even know what it is. So, but this is one of the cards.
Be there anyway.
Yeah. My audience, captive audience of one. But which I got him hooked on this other game I'll tell you about in a second that I was playing last night. But this is my little bunny card that is my thank you card for my Patreon patrons right now. And it actually prints fine in black and white. So if you do grayscale, the colors come out as a lighter gray color and it still looks pretty good. So so these are my new thank you cards. I'm going to put these in Etsy also this week. But Banished is a game that I have been playing lately way too much. And I got him hooked on it. They had it for $5.
It was $7 after
$7 on
there was a special
Black
sale
Friday.
on Steam that just ended like 2 days ago.
Oh, did it? Okay. I was going to say I thought maybe it was still.
No, it ended the night I bought it, which was night before last.
Yeah. So it's a resource management game.
But it's normally 20. I think it's still 65% off, it says.
They got a regular price, $20, but there's some kind of a deal that they had listed on here. That might be old.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because I clicked on a couple of them last night that were sci-fi games, and they said like 85% off, and they were listed like normal price. I'm like, well, that's not new.
Yeah.
But I even played like 4.5, 5 hours the other night. I started a town, and then I deleted it and started a new town when I kind of figured out more stuff.
Yeah.
And did a little better.
The pastures were boggling at first, but
they still are. I still don't understand them.
Well, you just slide it all the way to all the right, and then pull it in one.
Apparently, the guy slaughtered all of my cattle, and now because I have none, they don't breed, and so there is never cattle in my pasture. So I just
you can change it.
I need as soon as I have a trading post, I need to actually buy cattle.
Either that, or you can trade it to chickens or sheep if you have them. It doesn't. It
only gives me the
option
as cattle.
Okay. So it's not really Sim, and it's not really Civ. And thankfully, it doesn't run in the background when you're not on it, because I know there's some games that they'll keep doing stuff and the game will keep going even though you're not logged in. This one, when you log out, it stops.
And you can pause it. Yeah.
While you're panic buying or panic building, trying to figure out what you're going to do. I had mumps pop up, and only 3 people got infected, and I squelched it because I had a hospital.
I had 5 people running around without tools forever.
I had 60 running without tools because I traded all my steel tools for sheep last night. You can watch it on live stream.
Drac was like,
Drac-
are you crazy?
Drac's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, no, I need sheep. So I traded a bunch of steel tools for that. But the shortage was, the problem was, or iron tools. The problem was I had
It's
all
like
the
trading
iron.
somebody all your guns for food.
I had all. One, one's a little more necessary than the other. Not to get into like gun issues or anything, but
no, I just mean like with Oregon Trail or one of those games.
Oh my gosh!
Here, we'll trade you firearms for food. It's like,
no,
we're starving right now.
Yeah. No, what was funny is the shirt that I got the first year for the Firefly for the Serenity event. Yeah. That there was somebody that says you have arrived or you've reached Miranda.
You've arrived at Miranda.
Killed by Reavers.
You were killed by Reavers or whatever.
It was like the best shirt ever. I don't know that he's still.
And it's all in black and white too, like the old school.
It looks exactly like Oregon Trail. It's so funny, but the people coming after it look like zombies or whatever. But it's the little 8-bit thing. It was a riot. And somebody donated 2 of them, which I think Issa has the other one.
Yeah, Issa's got one.
Yeah, so we've had too much of a blast with those. But today, apparently on Google is George probably Surratt's 162nd birthday. He's
George Surratt.
Yeah, pointillism was, and I never really.
Art style,
pointillism art style. I've done it, but not a whole lot. I did it just to kind of play around with it and try it.
I had a really good art teacher, like an art history teacher.
It's really beautiful.
That like showed us. Oh yes, I've seen that painting. On
top left.
Yeah, that's like world famous. People like recognize that as like the park scene by the lake or whatever. And
yeah, Sunday on Le Grand Jatte, 1884.
Le Grand Jatte.
Yeah, but pointillism style is really interesting, and there's some I want to say there's modern pointillism artists that are just really crazy good. That is not. A lot of them are abstract from the looks of it, or pop art more than anything. I'm not seeing anything.
A couple of them almost have colors like, what's his face? Who was the one with the crazy colors? Was it Van Gogh? Van Gogh, yeah. The colors almost look like neon. I mean, it's like, what?
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything like mastery level. There's a few, actually, that are pretty good.
That looks like berry fields or something to me.
Yeah. But it's like an intro to pointillism. Pinterest, however, has a ton of stuff if you're interested in pointillism to look at.
There you go.
So trying new art styles is one of the things I want to play with in December, as far as, or not art styles, mediums. So I want to delve more into gouache, and I want to start painting more with ink. I've done a little bit of ink work in the past, but drawing, of course, is my main thing. So December is the digital advent and the advent of new things. So hence the title. But and trying new coffees. We have to get more coffee for Christmas.
Yes.
Or coffee flavored things.
Christmas flavored things. Something. Yeah.
Nog.
We still have a bunch of that Trader
eggnog.
Joe up there that I grind first. That's really good. That's that medium roast from Trader Joe's. That's really good too. We've been enjoying that as well.
Book.
I was being patient. Yes. So I have another Alistair Reynolds for us today. This is Pushing Ice. It is standalone. Basically, the premise is there's a rock hopper mining ice out near the planet Saturn, and it's ice moon Janus. lifts off and takes away. Lifts off and like flies off. And the Rockhopper radios back to Earth, and they're like, well, you're the closest ship that can intercept. Go after it. And so they follow it. And so there's interaction between some of the crew that some people don't like, because the captain has to make like kind of an ultimate decision and stuff. But it's really well told though, and so this ship that is close enough to intercept pretty much has to like just follow after this thing and figure out if they can communicate with it, what it wants, where it's going, that kind of stuff. So it's really cool. It's standalone. It doesn't have additional books you have to read. So it's just, you read it in one and done. And yeah, Pushing Ice was recommended to me, and I picked it up. So
we'll do the Vanna thing.
So, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So speaking of new, I have some new glasses. And that's the test, is if his ears turn red, then it's a good pair. Because he blushed. Calling you out. So I've got a couple of books that I've got lately. Is I picked this up for some stalemate reference. Actually, I don't need those right now. But the cool thing about this is you have floor plans. And so I've been kind of combining floor plans to flush out the house for stalemate, because I'm working on the revisions for that. I'm bound to term, and I'm getting that out this month. But I'm finishing up illustrations this week on a children's book for a client that I'll have more information on, called The Light Will Find Our Door. And it's geared towards the solstice versus Christmas.
Oh, okay.
So I am doing that, but stalemate has been ongoing in the background. So I picked that up, and I've had this book. I actually teach Procreate on OutSchool online, and I have links below for that. But I teach Procreate on there, and picked this up to kind of look for inspirations and dive in a little deeper, and have really enjoyed this so far. There's actually been a couple of things in there I found that I was like, oh, hey, wait a minute. I didn't know about that. So I'm still learning. It's like Photoshop and Creative Cloud with all the programs, is they do updates and you've got more stuff to learn. So, but I got this one a little while ago, and they just came out with this one. So this is my deep dive this past month, is working on developing character studies and more stuff for stories, possibly a graphic novel, because I like some of the styles that are in here. Like this one, which is a little different approach. Kind of an offset style, almost like a screen print style, where the color doesn't necessarily match up. I've done that on a few things. I've done that recently on some cards that went out for November for Patreon. But so that is the other one that I've been enjoying kind of looking through. I haven't sat down and gone step by step with it yet, but that is in the works. I have a very different style going right now, more abstract for the children's book illustrations. So I'm kind of holding off on getting anything else in my brain, because I want to stay consistent with what I'm doing. I did open back up for commissions. So, but that's really going to start in January, I think. And we had a map class this past week. So this is part of what I do with the kids, is create this little island thing. Speaking of mapping.
I vaguely remember when you had that class, yeah.
This little island random shape generation exercise, and then I go into different terrain and that kind of stuff.
Because I remember being surprised when you said it was a map class.
Yeah.
Like, oh, because people haven't been signing up for it recently, and it used to be really, really popular. And
well, I haven't been listing it.
oh, okay. Well,
I haven't been listing. It took some time off. Yeah, this definitely is for reading. So,
what, like 10 to 12 inches?
Not even.
8 inches?
Probably about 8, yeah.
Yeah, like probably about right there.
So, we've got our Christmas setup starting this weekend. Some decorating and some stuff. I have been looking at some new classes on Domestika. I've been looking at possibly teaching on not Domestika, but Skillshare. I've had a few people that have been telling me I need to start listing classes over on Skillshare for the adults, because I have a lot of adults request classes that I'm teaching their kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I've caught a couple of parents sitting off screen, which they're not supposed to do. So I'm going to start doing classes on Skillshare. So keep an eye out for that. Probably in this next week, I'm going to list a few, but I'm going to have a lot of recording to do, and I'm going to have to fix this backdrop, which the camera is actually what's crooked. There.
I was wondering because, I'm like, my shoulders.
It's like we're going.
My shoulders are the way they're supposed.
We're listing to the right here.
I'm like, yeah, okay.
This is just a cloth backdrop that I picked up, not to, break the fourth wall, whatever, and spoil it. It's pretty obvious because there's wrinkles over on that side, but we've got to get like a we've got to get a probably like a 1x2 or something, and attach that so that I can just hook it on the wall. They may actually make different backdrops that you can get on Amazon pretty cheap. I think it was like less than $20, and it's huge because I'm having to fold the sides. I want to say it's 8 foot by. It's probably 8 foot by 8 foot. I bought it a little while ago, so I don't remember exactly. So what else have we been doing? I did a live stream for my birthday. It was supposed to be 12 hours, ended up being 14 because we were having too much fun. And oh my gosh, that was a train wreck. I had people gifting subs to people. I think I ended up with 18 new subs by the time it was over, between Meep and Enderdark.
Ender, yeah.
So we did.
I think 12.
No, 5. She did 5, and then.
No, I said Ender had like 12. He had like 11, and then he had another one.
Yeah, and then
Meep had 5 or 6, I think, and then.
It's crazy. And then I had somebody donate 10,000 bits, which is about $100, to the stream for my birthday, and they had been saving up because they knew it was my birthday, and that was huge. That broke me for several hours. I'm still cannot even. I just can't. My December Patreon people are getting boxes. I have little 6x6x1 boxes. So that's another reason you want to sign up for snail mail for this month on Patreon, is that $10 will get you 25 downloads for the Advent, plus the box that's coming for my $5 snail mail people as a Christmas present. So I'll have a bunch of little things in there. But we played Minecraft. We have a realm now again. Drac donated for a realm. So we were playing that because we had a Baba Yaga chicken hut challenge that my daughter issued because she made me a Baba Yaga card for my birthday, and which I have safely tucked away, so I don't have it here. but she challenged me in Minecraft and in Valheim. Well, Valheim, and then I challenged her back in Minecraft. And we had half an hour to build Baba Yaga's chicken hut. And I love the Baba Yaga lore. Don't think I have my print here anymore. My print's out in the other room. I'm not worried about it. My print out in the other room, but I have a thing about Baba Yaga lore, and I'm not even sure why. It's she's from the Vasilisa story, and I have a thing for folklore. In fact, I think Folklore Week is coming up for drawing.
Well, I think isn't she a part of like Slavic lore period?
Yes.
So there you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think
some of the scariest looking monsters and stuff are in like Slavic lore.
Yeah. What's funny is I went to school in a very big Slavic community. Oviedo, Florida has a huge Slavic community there. 2 or 3 of my teachers were Slavic heritage. The one that tried to get me to switch from my left hand to my right hand in 5th grade, in particular, was Slavic and bilingual. So I kind of grew up with that, and my grandfather's family was German. So I had a few different cultures kind of growing up, and my mom worked for the airline, so I was always into travel. So anytime, she had books and travel books, and I'd research the folklore and come up with all it was like fodder for stories constantly. But I want to say that's Lisa. Beautiful fairy tale. That's Lisa the Beautiful. Which is a Russian fairy tale.
Makes sense.
And then Baba Yaga, in her mortar, she would travel in that story. She would travel in a mortar, like mortar and pestle. But Baba Yaga I think, shows up in several cultures. I'm not sure. Russian. So not Slavic, but
okay.
I want to say there's a Slavic version too. Yeah. So also, so Baba Yaga is in Russian and Slavic both.
Proximity. They're not far apart, so.
Ancient goddess of death and regeneration in Russian. And or she's a witch and an ogress in Russian folklore, ancient goddess of death and regeneration in Slavic mythology, roots in pre-Indo-European matrilinear pantheon. Yeah, that one's different. It's Babia. Babekia. I think Russian word for the creature is referred to as the boogeyman. So that one's different. Scots call it a boggle. Polish call it bobo. And the Italians, babao. So they were talking about how John Wick got Baba Yaga completely wrong. So, because I remember them referring to him as Baba Yaga in the movie. I remember that now. But So Christmas movies. That immediately made me think of Die Hard.
Die Hard.
So Die Hard is
It's the first one I mentioned, and everybody's like, "Well, that's debatable." I'm like, "Really?"
Yeah. What time?
He was going home for Christmas, people.
And what time is it that you have to start it to where he's jumping off the building right when?
Yeah.
Right when midnight hits or something.
Light the Christmas tree right at that point.
Yeah. So, we did start Thanksgiving. We didn't get it because we were meeting up at somebody else's house. We did not get a chance to watch the Thanksgiving Day Parade or the Westminster Dog Show, which is our big thing my daughter and I like to do on Thanksgiving morning. So we ended up watching Miracle on 34th Street, the original with Natalie Wood. And because the Macy's Day Parade is in that, my grandfather, I've got pictures of him in New York, supposedly, according to my grandmother, actually used to do at one point did window displays for Macy's. And of course, Macy's are some of the most famous in the world around Christmas. There's another, I know Saks Fifth Avenue, I think, does the animatronic windows. And Stefan Boucher, a friend of mine, who is also a designer, designed a Yeti for Saks.
You still have that Yeti in the bedroom?
No, he's not in the bedroom. He's in the living room.
I saw him by the closet door. Wasn't he like sitting over by the closet door in the bedroom? Isn't that the Yeti? The white thing with the paw, the foot pads?
Snowflake paws?
Big foot pad things? Or is that a different Yeti?
Yeah, maybe he is. Okay, I was thinking he was
in
the living
room.
Yeti?
I don't know.
I've misplaced my Yeti. But Saks Fifth Avenue is another one. And then there's another company that they have been coming out with Christmas ads for years that are like mini movie story kind of stuff, but I can't think of the name of the company. So the animatronic displays are a thing. Eventually, when we get a house, I wouldn't mind doing maybe one or two, but I don't want it to be like the pink flamingo lawn in Florida where everything is moving and you have all this stuff, because we had a couple people that had every possible conceivable flamingo all year round that did hats on them and decorations, and it was just, the lawn was just covered in flamingos.
To answer your question, the block in California that I lived on, we lived on the one main street, and then there was a cul-de-sac, and the two guys that made number 1 and number 2 in the newspaper locally, that had like 50,000 to 100,000 lights, would start the weekend of Thanksgiving. So like Friday after they came home from work or whatever. The one guy was retired, so he'd start in the morning. Yeah. The other guy would start like as soon as he got back from fire duty or whatever. So Friday evening, they'd be up putting lights up, bringing stuff out on the lawn, most of it animatronic. And both of them would make the newspaper, number 1 and number 2. They compete back and forth every year.
It'd be interesting to see if they still do that.
And, probably. I mean, they've got 2 sons. Their 2 sons and their grandkids probably come over and help them do it now, actually. So it wouldn't shock me.
Yeah, so when we get a house, that's one of the things that I'm interested in doing is I kind of want to put up like the command strips around the edge of the roof, or put some kind of a mount around the edge of the roof so I can just switch out lights and stuff every year for my daughter, for decorations, Halloween for sure, and maybe New Year's would still be leftover Christmas. We actually, one year, my mom and I, we were so bad, we actually left our Christmas tree up until June. it was kind of a rough year, and we just wanted to be cheery, so we just left our tree. I almost want to say we left it almost all year round.
Was it March or April? I think we've left ours up. I think
I usually start taking it down when it's cold, when it stops being cold.
Yeah,
because the cold to me, I'd have a tree. I'd have a tree year round.
With an artificial tree, you can leave it up longer because it's not going to dry out and be a fire hazard, But
well, the big thing, we had that one. We used to get live trees, and we had one year that we couldn't figure out why it died. I mean, it just died within like a week of when we got it. It wasn't even Christmas yet.
Ours?
And I think we ended up having to go out and get another one.
Yeah,
it was the heater.
I do remember it being dead within like 2 weeks. Yeah.
Because where we had it
started getting all crispy and dropping nettles, and
it dropped everything. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So because we had moved it to a different spot, it died because it was under the heater. Is what it was. No.
Okay.
No. When we were,
I'm just trying to
remember. Because we've only had the little one. We've had Wilson here, but the one we have a 3 or 4 foot tree.
It's like 4 foot. Yeah.
Yeah, named Wilson because that's what
the box
says
that
on
it
the box.
Came in was the company name or the
it's
provider.
Like Wilson Christmas tree, whatever.
Wilson trees.
Yeah. But I want to get a big one this year. And that spot over in the corner by where the TV's going, because we're rearranging
Where's
everything.
Where's the cheese going? If you've
in
got
the middle
like
of the room. In the
bookshelves
of the room.
there and bookshelf right there.
Yeah.
And where's it going?
In the middle of the room. There's walkway all the way around it. But
okay.
Don't worry about it. We've got it figured out.
Okay.
Just listen for your name.
I can't do a whole lot right now.
He's still dealing with his neck.
I feel better than I've felt in weeks.
Yeah.
I have at least felt good enough to be up, not having to lay down all the time. Mobile.
And we've got a neck brace coming today.
And I get naggy little, but nothing that like requires ice for long periods or anything.
We're doing that quite
fantastic for 5 days, and I'm just like, it's wonderful.
Yeah. So I just want you fixed by Christmas so you can enjoy Christmas.
I just don't want to have to be trying to get there when it's starting to want to snow, because that's going to make it really difficult.
Yeah.
So
I got to get the car over to have them double check the tires before that hits too. Driving in snow is not my favorite.
Keep an eye on the weather report
so much when
then,
I had the Volkswagen.
I looked through 3 days ago, and the weather report was fine for like 10 days out. But if it wants to snow January 1st or something,
I really hope we get Christmas Day. I really hope that we get. I want snow Christmas Day. Right now it's 56.
Yeah. Got a couple of days there. It looks like it's supposed to be 30, 26 for the low overnight, but it doesn't look like it's. Little bit of game news for this week, because like a while back when Pearl Abyss took back over control of Black Desert, and I had to account transfer between Cacao Games, who held Black Desert at that time, to Pearl Abyss. Once again, Cacao Games is now acquired ArcAge. ArcAge was Gamigo's for a while, and it's now going to be Cacao Games after today. Officially, December 2nd, they're making the the account transfers today and last night. So if you play ArcAge, just for whatever reason, you'll need to log into your Glyph account, copy the code, clipboard it or whatever, and then sign into a new Cacao Games account, input the code, and put in for the transfer, so it transfers your information when they make those transfers. That way, when you log into the server for Cacao Games after the 2nd, your stuff will be there. So I had to do the same thing with Black Desert several months back, and when these Korean companies trade their intellectual properties back and forth, and I have to do it this week with Cacao Games and Gamigo. So
yeah,
just a heads up.
So I'm looking at, they're actually showing that it's not our imagination that it's warmer.
It's definitely been warmer.
Yeah.
It's been nice enough for me to walk around outside.
Yeah, it's apparently a thing.
Not need a jacket. I've been fine in like long sleeve thermal. So yeah, it's been really nice.
It's been nice enough for me to not freeze to death because I just don't. I even walked that
trash bag out last night at like
without
11
a jacket.
o'clock, and I didn't need a jacket. I had socks on. I had wool socks on, and I wasn't cold. And I was like, "It's mild out here."
Yeah. Well, it's looking like it's going to be 50s, 60s, maybe down to.
Looks like Monday's overnight's 26.
Yeah.
According to that, it might get warmer than that until,
Yeah, but everything is above freezing.
Everything's above 35, 40.
Makes me sad. I want snow.
Well,
we were supposed to get
don't mind
cold
if it
weather,
snows a little bit. What I mind is when like the car door won't open because it's so frozen shut.
We couldn't get the car open
for almost 2 weeks?
For 2 weeks. What we didn't know at the time is we had COVID. So the only place I was going to be going was up to the clinic, but we couldn't even do that. So by the time I got tested, I registered that I was positive. Mm-hmm. He wasn't able to go with me, and Issa couldn't at the time too.
At that time.
Because we were trying to make sure that.
And by the time we did, Issa and I both tested negative.
Yeah. So we're not even 100% sure really whether or not they had them, but it doesn't. The doctor and I both agreed that it didn't make sense that they didn't.
But I had flu-like nasal symptoms.
You were sick first. Yeah,
and I had it for 2 weeks. I had that first for about a week and a half.
Yeah. And I tested positive for 3 months.
And then she was positive for 3 months.
Yeah. And I still deal with somewhat of the fatigue. The ADD has been off the chart ever since. So my post-COVID body is definitely different. But I am here, I'm alive, and we're looking to get booster shots because of all the other stuff going on. Mm-hmm. So, which makes it really difficult for everything. I don't know. Just one day at a time, people. It's taking it one day at a time. The best thing you can do is just make sure that you're safe and that you protect other people around you by wearing your mask. So I will never stop harping on the mask thing. I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry. But it's, it's imperative for people like me because I'm immunocompromised that,
A couple of books that have come out for Dungeons and Dragons recently also. Fizzbands.
Segue.
Sorry. No, I just
thinking out. We didn't do board game night. Okay, I'll accept that segue.
Well, no, I mean, I'm just
push in the clutch before you change gears.
Bringing up nerdy things. You want a nerdy cast? You need nerdy things too.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but Fizzbins is out. It's the Treasury of Dragons.
Yep.
So if you really like dragons and options for dragons for your fifth edition games.
Yeah, we need to get another D&D
And
game
March, I believe, is when the new Critical Role book for the other part of the Critical Role campaign setting comes out.
Yeah.
Ooh. I don't care.
Yeah,
but
he doesn't get into
So,
Critical Role.
I don't care, but other people care.
He's kind of over Critical Role.
The other part, I don't even remember the title of the book.
Issa and I both like We're Critters.
That comes out, I believe it's March. It's slated for, you can pre-order it, I believe, now.
Yeah.
And it's, but the closer
they've been pushing it for Christmas.
The closer to March you usually order that kind of stuff to its release date, you'll see a lower price on it. So like within a couple of weeks of when you can order it, non-pre-order, it usually drops to about $30. Right now, you'll probably end up pre-ordering it for $50. So keep your eye on it, watch the price if that's something you want. So Amazon usually kind of lowers the price as it gets closer to release. So
yeah.
I
know I think probably most of our Christmas is listed on Amazon this year, which I'll link that if you guys are interested in sending us.
I just want
maybe
that little lamp.
Books
like or that, and it changes 5 different colors.
The what?
There's a lamp. It's the one that Media Death Cult Moyd has in England.
Yeah.
The one that sits on his bookshelf that's like this big, and he taps it and it changes color. It's got like red and purple and blue and like off-white, and like 2 different brightnesses of white, and off-white and like incandescent bulb. And you can tap it. It's like a touch light. You can just, it's on my wish list if you have to look there. Okay. You're not going to find it there. You go to my wish list, worst case.
Okay.
It's on my birthday list on my wish list. It's already added.
You must have added it.
I added it within the last couple weeks, yes.
Okay. I was going to say your birthday's not till May. So.
No, not birthday, my Christmas list, yes. The one labeled Christmas 2021, it's on there.
Okay.
Yeah. Scroll right there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the Unifun touch lamp.
Actually, it says Unfun.
Unifun.
Oh, it is Unifun. Yeah. Okay. I thought it said Unfun, and I'm like, oh, that's a terrible company name. We make unfun things.
That looks pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
I like a bar like that for the, like, maybe above.
Yeah, and I figure it's small enough to, like, go on the bookshelf. So,
that's pretty cool. He's going to drive me crazy with it, though. So there's the link for it. But I will compile stuff for our list because I know Issa's got one, and any kind of book that's on our list, if anybody wants to suggest a book, I read a little faster than he does, but he retains everything. So that's with me, I'm goldfish. So with me, I'm goldfish. I'm like, oh yeah, I read this a couple of weeks ago. I don't remember a thing about it. I'll go ahead and read it again because it's new. No, I'll retain some stuff, but especially if it's something I'm interested in, usually nonfiction.
I think you remember like an overall plot.
Yeah.
But
the
are smaller details in between more kind of hazy?
Yeah.
Is it more like that?
I'll remember things that my brain latched onto that were very visual to me.
Yeah.
And I'll remember stuff like that, but I read like 400 words a minute. So proofreading is something I'm going to start offering. In fact, I think I've got it listed on my LinkedIn, but I know with you can tell, you can describe every possible detail of just about everything in quotes and different things.
There are some books I read.
There
are some books I read, and I remember the details, but then I'm like sitting there reading, and I'll be like, okay, so I'll close the book after a chapter or two, and I'll sit there and I'll be like, okay, so what's going on here? Because there's so much that some of these fantasy writers detail.
That's why I don't read a whole lot of fantasy. My brain just doesn't track it.
What is the story here?
Sci-fi is even sometimes hard.
What am I meant to get out of the plot for this story?
He gets all meditative and
no, it's just that.
So what would you rather? Would you rather? Because I know there's times when you wish you could read faster, and there's times I wish I could read more. So would you rather? Here's the question: would you rather be able to read faster to read more books?
Question.
Yeah.
I love that
Zumando. Oh my gosh, we need
Zubmondo,
to get we need to get a copy of that. We need to put that on our.
Except some of them are really gross, and I'd
Yeah.
like rather not even bother with either of them.
Yeah.
It's Zobmondo.
Yeah.
ZOB. You've got ZOE up there,
Yeah,
which might be why it's not.
Well, originally it was.
Well, the game I remember selling at.
Yeah.
Was Zobmondo. ZOB. MONDO. Zobmondo.
Yeah. So there's a book.
Came in a blue box, if I remember correctly.
No, this was a book.
No.
This was a.
Oh, was it a book?
This was a book.
Oh,
I know.
Zobmondo.
Yeah, would you rather?
Yeah.
There's the original book.
Yeah.
Yeah. $42. So yeah.
Why? No.
They're milking that one. But,
yeah, looks like it.
So, but it was really popular. I may actually still have a copy of it in the box somewhere.
Yeah, but they made a game version of it though, because when I worked at Gamekeeper, they put all of the questions on cards.
Yeah.
And you took turns with cards, asking everybody around the table, "What would you rather?"
Yeah. We need to get that though.
But yeah, that was. I don't remember.
That'll be our version of Cards Against Humanity, because I haven't been too thoroughly.
It ran about
Cards Against Humanity is okay. As a parent, it's definitely not something I can play around my kid.
Crass in places.
Yeah,
though.
and there's some things that I'm just like, I'm not into that level of crass. Yeah, some of the things in there are pretty cringy.
Level of cringe.
Yeah. They actually had a job opening a couple of years back.
Card designer?
For writers.
Oh, yeah, for writers. Card designers.
Yeah. So
maybe
I should have taken him up on it and infiltrated some more stuff. It wasn't quite as
Game of Thrones version. Would you rather have
your
head caved in with a mace or,
but anyway,
hung by a noose?
Yeah, but it's like either way you're dead. So
exactly.
I'll take the less painful route. Thank you. No, but the question is would you rather be able to read and absorb books quickly, or would you actually be able to read fast and be able to read more books, or would you like to be able to read slower so you can retain more? So retention or quantity?
I wouldn't want the way I read to be different, only because I can remember everything that I read.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is there's probably 8 things I'd like to read right now.
Can you read multiple books at a time?
I can read 3 or 4 books at a time. Like if I put bookmarks in and I read from chapter to chapter, that way I'm giving myself a clear stop.
As to what was in what story?
That way I'm giving, I know exactly what I'm reading.
Or do you read?
No, I remember exactly
separate genres, stuff that's totally different from each other.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's the way I do it. Like I'll read this sci-fi book, I'll be reading this fantasy book at the same time. I'll be reading this history book. That way.
And then maybe a space book.
There's a different, difference of genre there.
I have one nonfiction going. I have 2 nonfiction goings. Totally, one's like a series of essays and one's like historical stuff. And then I have, trade paperback size fiction going, and then maybe a couple of like a children's book. I'll throw a children's book in just to give me some completion, because children's book you read, in a few minutes. And that way I feel like I've accomplished something. And then the other ones, I don't like books that have like really, really stupid long chapters.
Well, it's like
I've
seen you get children's books because of the art style.
Oh yeah. All my children's books are because of the art style mostly.
Yeah.
I'll look at story second most of the time with that. I do have a couple that are story oriented more than others, and I have graphic novels that I read too. So as long as I have different things I can't confuse with each other, then I'm okay and I can do that. But so this wraps up this week, our our hour-long, nerdy, somewhat confusing rant. Just kind of all over the place this week. But check out Patreon for the digital advent that's going on right now. It's through the 25th. And take a look at Instagram. I'm posting all new stuff there about the books and everything. And you need to start blogging more. You need to start using your blog again. He actually has a blog. He just doesn't do anything with it. He haven't written anything for a while. Need to write some stuff. Hint. Hint, hint. But, so, yeah, I know. I get spam calls all the time. So let's turn that one over. But so next week we'll have some more festive backdrop probably, and start doing some more things for Christmas.
They set that up Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah.
Well, if it's set up by Tuesday, you can have it for Tuesday night. So
yeah. So we're gonna be a little more decorative. And my next live stream is Saturday at noon, and that's going to be art related, maker related, crafting related. So I can't tell you what, but it's going to be hands-on. It's going to be fun.
Exciting.
And I will actually be kind of teaching something. So you might want to check in on my Instagram or check in on my Discord. All the links are going to be below, and I will make mention of the books and stuff that we talk about down there too. So you guys have a great week, great weekend, and we will see you next week. Bye.